Hello Scorpio, and welcome to your March 2022 monthly forecast. This is for the Sun or the Ascendant. As ever, I'm going to give you a broad overview of what to expect, and then please stay with me. I'll dive deep to give you in detail all the key dates and influences that are going to impact on your sign in particular. Now, as we go into this new month, we need to think about where your rulers are. So your ruler is Mars traditionally, and Pluto modern, higher octave. Pluto continues its long journey through the sign of Capricorn, which has been going on since 2008. Mars has moved here more recently, and it is going to be for one more week. It's been at the start of this month in the sign of Capricorn, where it's exalted, for 5 weeks. But by the 6th of this month, it is going to be moving. It moves into the sign of Aquarius. But also on the same day, Venus moves with Mars. So that combination between Venus and Mars, which has been so charismatic in terms of your personal communication, the passion for you to express your ideas throughout February, it's still there at the start of this month. But also we have a glorious new moon on the 2nd. And that new moon is going to be in conjunction with Jupiter, the planet of hope, the planet of optimism, the planet of fortune, in your 5th house of romance, but also of self-expression. And then on the 3rd, Venus and Mars align with your modern ruler Pluto. So the 2nd and 3rd are two very key dates for you this month. And if you join me for your deeper interpretation, I'll go into how and why this will be such a significant month for you. But if you are new to my channel, I'd be honoured if you would subscribe. Please click or tap on the bell notification symbol. Every time I drop a video, you'll get an alert from YouTube. Also, if you've yet to do so, why not sign up for my free daily written horoscope? I've been writing these for over 25 years, and it would be lovely to have you receive this too. Please see the link beneath this video. And if you want to ascend above Zodiac horoscopes and embrace more serious astrology, you can buy your 12-month forecast and character analysis combination package and get 30% off based on your time, date and place of birth, and gain seeing insights into the early part of 2023 by seeing the link beneath this video. So Scorpio, welcome to your March in-depth monthly forecast. Now, also at the start of this month, not only do we have the Sun and Jupiter and Neptune in your sector of joys, we also have Mercury, the planet of thought and intellect, in your 4th house, and that's in an exact conjunction for the first 3 days with Saturn. And that suggests that there could be quite a meaningful conversation, perhaps with a sibling at the start of this month, or someone that you're very close to in your extended family. I think people will know that what you say is what you mean. Now that might sound a little bit surprising if you know your astrology, because when Jupiter's in the mix, as it is in its alignment with the Sun for the first 9 days of this month, there is the potential for exaggeration. But the combination of Mercury and Saturn, and also Venus, Mars and Pluto, so your 2 rulers in that exact conjunction on the 3rd day of this month, means that I feel that your communication can be particularly acute in terms of expressing how you really feel, whether it's your emotions or your ideas. Now, the ebullience of Jupiter just means that in its combination with the Sun and the Moon on the 2nd in the new moon in your sister water sign of Pisces, this just gives you a wonderful platform to really reach for the stars. The 5th house is where we want to get our joys fulfilled. And this could be around your social situation and interaction. We've all been starved of the opportunities to mix and mingle, and I think there's going to be slowly but surely much greater chance to do that this year But if you can, in your particular locality, get together with others, I think you will get a lot from it. Now, Jupiter, of course, being the planet of fortune and in the fifth house is the sector of risk. If you are someone who's wanting to assess opportunities and be bolder about seizing those opportunities, that wouldn't be a surprise. And it could be linked to property, that you're thinking of doing something more creative, particularly with Venus and Mars moving on the 6th into the sign of Aquarius, joining up with Mercury, joining up with Saturn. But Venus and Mars here could see you thinking, particularly the energy of Mars, about physically changing your domain. So that could be moving altogether, upsizing, downsizing, adapting, refitting, any kind of cosmetic improvements as well, particularly with Venus in the mix. Venus in the 4th house really loves to decorate, so that could be something that inspires you. But in the early parts of this month, the electric energies of Uranus in your sector of relating are also linking in magically to the Sun and also Jupiter. So your connections to others can be really given extra sparkle at the start of this month. So whether you're talking to someone about helping you make some changes to your home, a real estate agent, you're talking to a financier, there can still be a kind of a buzzy vibe, which is something to really savour. But the movement of Venus and Mars into your 4th house is asking you to become more conscious of your environment, your physical environment. So that starts with the home for many of us, but it's also how we feel about ourselves inside ourselves. So Venus is how we relate. Mars is in some ways to do with our ego. So if you want to spend a little bit more time working on things in your home environment that are creative, like hobbies or interests, or even thinking perhaps about adding to your family unit, then this can be a special time. Venus and Mars together in the sign of Aquarius can still definitely have its upsides. Now on the 10th, Mercury moves into the sign of Pisces, which for you is good. It's the 5th house. You can feel more outgoing. Your sense of humour can really gain extra traction with this change. But also, from the 16th through to the 20th, the Sun aligns in a sextile with Pluto, your higher octave ruler. So that's in your 3rd house, the Sun's in your 5th. This suggests that a meeting of minds, but also some sparkling conversations that also inform you and help you to understand yourself better through the depth and the penetrating energies of Pluto. That's really going to be possible. So some big changes can occur around your thinking or around even your self-expression across those days. The full moon on the 18th is in the rather precise and practical sign of Virgo, which for you is about friendship. So this full moon also is influenced by Jupiter, and it's just saying to you, Scorpio, that quite a few people may want a piece of you. So the next 2 weeks, the last 2 weeks of this month, you may need to just manage your time a little more astutely so that either a partner or a friend or a group of people feel that they're still very much connected to you, but actually you're finding the room to do what you want to do for yourself. And the best way to do that is through effective communication. However, as Venus and Mars penetrate deeper into the sign of Aquarius this month, by the middle of the month, they're starting to forge a right angle with Uranus. And if there is a family or home-based relationship where you do feel a little bit neutered in some way, you're neutered in some way, you're not able to be quite as free a spirit as you would like, if someone is impinging on your personal space, then that can become much more of an issue for you, particularly through to the 27th, when Mars clashes with Uranus. And this is quite a caustic, tense right angle. So a family relationship which is not working quite so well may need some care and some extra patience to deal with the extra tension that we're all going to be feeling from this aspect. But for you, it influences your home, Mars and Venus in the 4th, and emotional life, and Uranus in the 7th, how you relate to others. Uranus is about the truth, the 7th house is about your relationships. So an emotional relationship may come under the astral microscope in a bit more of a powerful way during that series of days. But on the 20th, we do have the spring equinox. This is when the sun returns to the sign of Aries, which, like your sign, is ruled by Mars. And we have the start of the Western tropical zodiac, which is predicated on the 4 quadrants of the cardinal seasons, beginning with the spring equinox. We then have the summer solstice, the autumnal equinox, and then the winter equinox. And so these 4 sections of 13 weeks see you moving into a new time, and the sign of Aries for you represents practicalities. So all that creativity that's been really blossoming under the sun's energy with Jupiter at the start of this month, what you're being asked to do is take it from the spring equinox and package it into something that's meaningful and long lasting. The 6th house is basically about health, organisation, fitness, diet, nutrition, making sure that we're extracting the most from our qualities. So you can have great ideas at the start of this month. The second part of the month is how you apply them and how you receive a return. Now Mercury, as I mentioned before, moved into Pisces on the 10th, but it moves again on the 27th into the sign of Aries too. And that just asks you to really focus on details, because Mercury in the 6th house can be a bit brittle, and if we forget to do something that's important, it may be a seemingly minor oversight can actually cause a wider problem. So concentration is going to be very important in the second half of the month, particularly around things like appointments, or if you need to get inoculations done for a pet. The 6th house influences pets as well as aunts and uncles, believe it or not. So there may be some kind of connection with an aunt and uncle. You need to take care over some medical appointments. The medical appointments themselves are not the issue, it's the appointment. So make sure you're well up to speed on when your next dental check is due and that kind of stuff. Because obviously with COVID, a lot of stuff has been kicked down the track, has been delayed and deferred, and it's difficult to necessarily get all that we need because there's such a long backlog for all these institutions to work through. The 6th house, where the move of the sun goes into on the 20th with that spring equinox and Mercury, is also very much about work. But I don't mean in terms of your goals, ambitions, promotions, responsibilities. I mean the actual processes, the individual singular processes that are so important. And those may be an area, if you're not feeling very satisfied or fulfilled in your work, then you could find yourself looking for something that's more creative and more uplifting for you. Because Jupiter through to the 10th of May is pushing you to make the most of all your qualities and talents. It's been a real pleasure being with you. Thank you so much for joining me. Take care, good luck, and goodbye.